It's hard to believe, but the average Aztec warrior could run the equivalent of a modern marathon in sandals made from woven plant fibers while carrying weapons across volcanic terrain. Today, when most of us struggle to jog a single mile on paved roads, that reality feels almost unreal. And yet it's true. The Aztec warrior's strength wasn't built inside the walls of a gym. It was carved by a world of stone temples, humid forests, sprawling causeways, and the brutal demands of survival. And if you look closely, their methods reveal a truth we've almost forgotten. The human body isn't shaped by machines. It's shaped by purpose. This is the story of how the Aztec warrior trained without gyms, without weights, without supplements, and without comfort. A story of discipline forged in ritual, community, and the natural world. And maybe along the way, it becomes a story about us and the strength we still carry, buried under the weight of modern convenience. To understand their fitness, you first have to imagine their world. Tenochtitlan, a floating city built on a lake, its temples rising like mountains, its markets buzzing like beehives, its causeways stretching across the water like arteries. Every morning, the hum of life began before sunrise. Children trained, farmers worked, priests chanted, and warriors, the eagle and jaguar elites of the empire, were already pushing their bodies toward the next unseen battle. Their training wasn't optional. It wasn't casual. It wasn't for aesthetics. It was life. And so we begin with the first lesson. Lesson 1, strength wasn't a goal. It was a responsibility. In the Aztec world, becoming a warrior wasn't about personal ambition. It was a duty. Boys as young as 6 began participating in physical drills. They weren't trying to get fit the way we think of it today. They were preparing their bodies to serve their community, defend their families, and honor their gods. Imagine waking up as a young novice, the air still crisp from the cool lake winds. The teachers, the Kalmakak, masters for nobles, Telpashkali, instructors for commoners, gather the trainees in the courtyard. They start with simple but relentless movements, squats holding stones, long-footed runs around the temple base, intense, deep-breathing drills meant to expand the lungs. These children aren't doing workouts. They're learning how not to quit. And there's a scientific truth buried in this ancient ritual. When physical training is tied to meaning, the brain releases more dopamine, more motivation, more focus. Studies today show that purpose-driven effort increases endurance by up to 20%. The Aztecs discovered this organically, through culture, not research papers. Their first and most important strength lesson was this: the body becomes powerful when the mind believes its strength serves something greater. Lesson 2, the environment was the gym stand at the base of the Templo Mayor. And imagine using its 75 stone steps, not just as a path to the gods, but as your daily conditioning. Aztec warriors trained in a landscape that sculpted them. The volcanic soil, uneven stone platforms, high-altitude air, and dense forests acted as natural equipment. Instead of treadmills, they had long-distance running across Chinampa farmlands. Instead of squat racks, they carried logs, shields, and even prisoners. Instead of pull-up bars, they climbed trees, temple walls, and wooden scaffolding. The human body responds powerfully to unstable environments. Modern studies in exercise physiology show that running on varied terrain activates up to 30% more muscle fibers. Climbing increases grip strength faster than any gym machine. Training at altitude improves oxygen efficiency dramatically. The Aztecs lived these truths daily. Picture a young warrior sprinting across a causeway at dawn. No leveled track, no cushioned shoes, just raw ground beneath him. This wasn't a HIIT workout. It was preparing for the chaos of battle, dodging spears, leaping ditches, chasing fleeing enemies, or escaping ambushes across crooked terrain. Their gym was the earth itself, and the earth always demands more. Lesson 3, functional strength before anything else. One thing the Aztec warrior understood intuitively is something modern fitness influencers often forget. Strength that cannot be used in real life is merely decoration. Their training revolved around functional calisthenics, movements designed to mimic battle conditions. They didn't care about isolating muscles. They cared about the explosive speed needed to thrust a spear, the shoulder power required to swing a macahuitl, the core stability necessary for wrestling enemy captives to the ground. Imagine a training sequence. Deep squats holding heavy clay pots filled with water, sprints while carrying wooden shields, push-ups with a partner sitting on your back, crawling drills through muddy soil to develop agility, wrestling drills in pairs, long jump practice to cross trenches, stone lifting competitions to build pride and grit. These weren't workouts. These were rehearsals for war. From a scientific standpoint, compound movements, lifts, jumps, pushes, pulls, activate more muscles, burn more calories, and build more real-world strength than isolated machine exercises. The Aztecs got this right centuries before sports science existed. Their bodies were not sculpted for symmetry. They were shaped for survival. Lesson 4. Agility and footwork were sacred skills. Today we think of agility training as something done by athletes, football players, dancers, martial artists. But the Aztecs took agility to spiritual levels. Warriors were trained to move like the animals they represented. Eagle warriors practiced fast, sudden elevation bursts, mimicking a bird taking flight. Jaguar warriors learned to stalk, circle, and pounce, matching the rhythm of big cats. Underneath the symbolism was a deeper truth. Agility is just as important as strength. In the chaos of battle, heavy muscles slow you down, but quick feet save your life. Aztec footwork drills were intense. Sidestep shuffles across temple courtyards, quick pivots on unstable ground, dodging drills using thrown projectiles made from soft materials, jumping patterns over rope grids woven onto the ground. Movements that required precision, rhythm, and fast reaction times. Neurologically, agility training builds what is known as motor intelligence, the brain-body connection that allows for quick problem-solving under stress. In many ways, Aztec warriors weren't just training muscles. They were training instincts. Imagine the sound of dozens of warriors practicing their steps in unison, dust rising, feet pounding, voices chanting, bodies weaving in tight formations. This wasn't exercise. It was choreography for combat. Lesson 5. Endurance was the heart of everything. If strength made the Aztec warrior deadly and agility made him unpredictable, endurance made him unstoppable. Imagine running for hours, not minutes, through humid heat, across rough terrain, while carrying weapons and a wooden shield. Now imagine doing that after hardly any sleep, after ritual fasting, while preparing to face an enemy who trained just as hard as you. The Aztec warriors were endurance machines. Their daily lifestyle included long-distance running from city to city. Messengers, known as painani, could sprint over 20 miles in a single shift, passing messages like living relay racers. Warriors trained to match that stamina. Running wasn't just cardio, it was a cultural expectation. Science tells us the same thing the Aztecs learned from experience. Endurance strengthens the heart more effectively than any other training. Long-distance running increases mitochondrial density, boosts VO2 max, and improves the stress tolerance. But the Aztecs took mental endurance even further. Through rituals, fasting, sweating, and spiritual training, they conditioned themselves not just to endure physical fatigue, but to accept it as part of life. Endurance wasn't measured by distance. It was measured by how long you could resist the urge to stop. Lesson 6. Discipline through ritual and hardship. Here's a truth that often gets lost in modern fitness culture. Motivation fades. Discipline endures. The Aztecs didn't rely on motivation. They used ritual. Young warriors slept on cold floors as part of discipline training. They woke before sunrise. They carried heavy burdens without complaint. They took part in community labor like hauling logs, fishing, farming, or building structures. All of it was physical training in disguise. But more importantly, it trained the spirit. Their elders believed that hardship forged character, and research today supports this idea. Studies on resilience show that controlled stress, physical or emotional, increases mental toughness, problem-solving ability, and long-term motivation. For the Aztec warrior, discipline wasn't a personal choice. It was a cultural rhythm, a life pattern. Imagine fasting while still training. Imagine practicing combat drills in high heat with no water break. Imagine learning to fight while exhausted, because battle rarely waited for you to feel ready. These warriors built their discipline from childhood, and that discipline was worth more than muscle. Lesson 7. The warrior diet. Fueling strength without excess food for the Aztecs wasn't indulgence, it was fuel. They followed a naturally balanced diet built around corn, beans, squash, chia seeds, amaranth, tomatoes, peppers, and fish. Occasionally for warriors there was game meat. But even then, moderation was everything. Their meals were simple but nutrient-dense, high in fiber, high in complex carbs, loaded with minerals. Perfect fuel for long training days. Chia seeds, now trendy worldwide, were once called running food by the Aztecs. Packed with omega-3s, antioxidants, and hydration benefits, they allowed athletes and warriors to travel long distances with minimal supplies. Modern nutrition studies confirm the effectiveness of this diet. It stabilizes blood sugar, improves endurance, and prevents inflammation. But the most interesting part wasn't what they ate. It was how they ate. Communally, mindfully, without rushing. The warrior's diet wasn't just about the body, it was about belonging. Final reflection, the ancient strength we still carry. So what can we learn from the Aztec warrior? They show us that strength isn't something you buy. It's something you build from the inside out. Through purpose, through discipline, through the earth beneath your feet and the air in your lungs, through consistency rather than perfection. They show us that agility matters as much as muscle, that endurance shapes the heart, that communities create stronger individuals, that rituals keep us grounded, that simplicity in food, in training, in life creates clarity. Most of all, they remind us of something modern life tries hard to make us forget. The human body was born for movement. You don't need a gym to become strong. You don't need equipment to become powerful. You don't need technology to become resilient. You just need intention, effort, and a willingness to challenge yourself the way humans have for thousands of years. The Aztec warrior's body wasn't sculpted for beauty. It was sculpted for purpose. And in that purpose, there was power. Deep, enduring, undeniable power. The kind of power we still carry today. Waiting to be awakened. Waiting to remember. Because strength is not about living longer. Strength is about living better. Living fully. Living with the fire of someone who knows they were born capable of more than comfort, more than routine, more than survival. We may never train for battle like the Aztecs did, but the lessons they left behind, the discipline, the simplicity, the endurance, the relationship with the natural world, those lessons still matter. And if you choose to follow even one of them, you may find that the warrior inside you isn't gone. It's simply been waiting.